There's also clouds, so I'm sort of blinded. It's a little dark, and then now it's just like, oh my God. I got baby with me, and we're gonna work on recall. Now, recall, I start, like if it's a puppy, I start working with the puppy on a long line, like in the yard. I let the dog go off and do whatever, and then I'll call the dog by its name. I'll say if baby was a puppy, I'd say, baby here, and start reeling the dog in on a long line. Down. For a long line, for a puppy, you could use a clothesline and tie it directly onto the collar. But get the dog coming towards you. This is extremely important that your dog have good recall. And a really common thing is dogs that don't come when they're called. The owner calls them and they ignore them and are just doing whatever. It's like a cardinal rule that your dog can't do that. And most of the time, the owner has trained their dog not to come when it's called. And they do that by when the dog doesn't come when it's called. Once they do, walk up to it, or either they walk up to it or the dog does come, they berate the dog. Right? And verbally or smacking it, like, you didn't hear me, blah, 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 smack the dog. That is just the stupidest thing, and it's common, but it's as common as people thinking that if your dog goes to the bathroom in your house that you're supposed to rub their nose in it. You're just going to confuse the dog and teach the dog to eat its own shit. It's a fact. They get it on their nose and then they lick it. Next thing you know, they're eating it. So there's a lot of things. People always say, like, what's the most common mistake that people make with dogs? And it'll probably be getting them because they have no idea what they're doing. They just get them because they're cute, or they think that they're supposed to have a dog, but they can't get it trained. They just have trouble. They don't allocate money for training. Hey, snorkel hound. They don't allocate money for training, or if they do, it's PetSmart stuff. They just want to be able to say that their dog has training. It's PetSmart, Petco. Don't waste your time. Taking your dog, your puppy, to the puppy class once a week. Don't waste your time, and don't listen to that person that teaches that class, because you're going to hear a lot of nonsense, and they just want your money. That's it. It's all about money. I'm going to sell you the clicker training class that's supposed to be advanced training. Clickers are the same thing as saying good or good boy. That's all it is. There's nothing mystical about it. So remember that if you're going to get a dog, you can't, and the dog doesn't come when it's called, you do more training and long line. Put a long line on it and start teaching the dog to come when it's called. It's conditioning. And it's that point when the dog turns its head and starts coming towards you. That's the positive shit. You might even get lower and encourage the dog to come towards you. But you have to do that, or the dog really isn't going to respond well. It's not going to have good recall. And you must, if you're going to have your dog off of a leash at some point, they have to know how to do this. Now, you can instill recall too with an e-collar on a low setting. And how you would do that would be, once again, you could use a long line. And say you have the dog off at a distance. It's on a long line. And then you have the collar on something real low. And you call the dog to you by tapping the e-collar. But once the dog turns its head and starts coming towards you, stop tapping, because the dog's being compliant. Do you get it? So the dog's off at a distance. You have it on a 25-foot tracking lead or something. You say, Bosco, here. And then you pull the dog towards you. While you're pulling the dog towards you, right when you say Bosco, here, you're tapping the collar real low. When the dog turns its head and starts coming towards you, you stop tapping because the dog's being compliant. When the dog gets to you, congratulate the dog, good boy or good girl. So what we're going to do with baby is I'm going to make her sit, and we're going to do work on recall just from a distance. She has to sit, that back and forth. Then I'll go in another area so it isn't a straight shot, and she has to do the same thing. But it's that, baby, here. right? And remember, here is a general term meaning come towards me, okay? Heel means come into heel. So as the dog's getting close to me, I'm going to say heel. You could just use heel, but with dogs with advanced training, you want here, because there's a lot of things that you want the dog to move towards you and then stop. So like if she's looking for something, right, and she's going the wrong direction, I'll say here. So she comes towards me and I say sit. So she stops. If I said heel, then the dog is going to come all the way into heel. That's not what I want. And if you call the dog to you and you're not using here, you're using heel, and then you stop the dog with sit or whoa from a distance, you're confusing the dog with what that command is. So here's a general term. It means come towards me. So when the dog's getting close to me, I'll say heel. Here, general term. Heel, very specific. Come to me and spin into heel. Okay, so it's going to go down like this. Here, heel. Now I'm going to sort of keep an eye on her in my peripheral, make sure she doesn't float. As she floats, I'm going to put her back into the same position. Sit. So when you do this, so if you could find a place on the ground, a marker, so that you know where the dog was, get it back as close as you can to that general spot. Sit. No. Here. Heel. No, heel. Right here. Pretty good, dude. No, up here, dude. There you go. Pretty good, though. Good job, dude. Sit. This is a good way to exercise the dog, too, because you're doing sprints. Don't take your dog running. Don't. It's not healthy for your dog. Give your dog cardiomyopathy doing that. Hey, sit. No, heel. Slow it down, man. Get over here. Pretty good. No, here. Come on, man. Let's go. Sit. Now, instead of... Here, heel. Come over here. That's pretty good. Instead of saying here, I'm using the whistle because we start training her with the whistle command. It's interchangeable. So at times I'll say here, but if she's real far away, I will use the whistle. So the whistle's great if you're in the country or something, your dog knows whistle commands. It's out of earshot, you can use the whistle. It's hugely helpful. No. Also, it's a larger pressure wave going at the dog. So we're training her with a whistle stop and a whistle here command. This is so important to get your dog rock solid on this. And you're not gonna do it by not walking. I mean, you have to exercise. You can't just sit in your house and think it's gonna get done. Do you see the weather? It's sort of cold out, but it's not that bad. I got a wool hat on. I got a lot of layers. I feel fine. I could have better gloves, but so be it. It's not bad out. If you're like, I can't train the dog because it's cold, you're gonna get nothing done with the dog. You're gonna get nothing. You're being a slug. Get out there when it's snowing like this, and get out there when it's snowing even worse. And when it's raining, go get wet so that your dog knows that rain isn't anything to be fearful of. You don't know how many dogs are screwed up because the owner sent the wrong message to the dog. Oh, it's raining, we gotta put a raincoat on you. No, you don't. You don't have to put a raincoat on your dog, okay? If you're just going out to let the dog pee, you're gonna be out there. Your dog should pee on command. You let it out, it should pee within the first minute for sure. You give it the hurry, hurry command. If it's been 30 seconds, your dog isn't trained very well. So you really don't need to put a raincoat on your dog. And give me a break. Are you gonna walk around when it's raining real heavy? No, you're probably not. But you wanna send the correct message. So get your dog out in all kinds of weather conditions. And the one weather condition that is the most dangerous for your dog is heat. It is, it's heat. In this kind of weather, 28-degree weather, the dog loves it. This dog is not shaking. It doesn't need a coat. It's fine. And remember, when your dog shakes, a lot of times people are confused. They think that the dog's frightened or something. It's just an excitement in the mind. You can get your dog not to shake if you stop consoling it. And when you see a dog shake in the cold, they're shaking off calories, so feed them more. But if your dog's out, your dog's gonna be fine. You know, and if you're moving and the dog's moving, the dog's gonna be fine. The dog has a tendency, like a lab, they've gotten wet and you're sitting around waiting for another duck or goose, and then, you know, they have a tendency to sort of get cold. But feed them more in the winter and you'll be fine. What else? I'm gonna do this with the dog. I'm gonna set the dog down. I'm gonna use the whistle command with my back to it, to baby. And I still want her to come into heel. All right, baby here. Sit. No, I'm saying no because I know what she's thinking. And I don't want her to float. I need her to stay in position. Sit. No, sit. Heel. No. Side, man. What are you doing? Well, right there, she made a mistake. She went to the wrong side. Okay, she went to the side where if I was standing, I got my back to her. So what we're gonna do is, baby here, do you need to go to the bathroom? Hurry, hurry, go potty. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do it from a shorter distance, get her to come to the correct side with my back to her, and then we'll try and increase that. If I have to do this later with a leash, I will. But you're a goon, dude. Here, come here, heel. We'll start out right here. Come here, heel. Sit. Heel. Sit. Heel. No, man. Don't do that. Get over here. Heel. Sit. Heel. Sit. Heel. No! No, 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 no. Get back where you were. Get over here, man. Come here. Right now. Come here. Do it right. Heel. Good. Sit. Heel. Come on, let's go. Heel. All right, heel. Sit. No, sit. Heel. Come on, heel. No. Heel. Good. Good girl. Good. Heel. Sit. No. No. Sit. No. Heel. No. Over here, heel. Sit. No. Sit. No. Here, dude. Come here. Let's go. Sit. Heel. Good. Sit. No. Sit. Heel. Sit. No. Get back here. Come here. Come on. Sit. Get yourself back here. Come on. Heel. Come on. Heel. Sit. Heel. Sit. No. Sit. Heel. Sit. Good. No, heel. Come on, baby. Heel. Sit. Good girl. No. Good. Sit. Heel. Now, did you see the way that she was going to go? Listen, you need the dog to take a direct path to your heel. So you have to go over this. Sit. No, sit. But did you see the way that she was going to try and go around me to get the heel? Improper. So I said no, and she became compliant because she understands no. No is what we tell the dog when it's in the wrong position. Yes, or good girl. That's what we use to tell the dog it's in the proper position. So I said no, she was going wrong. I said no, and she became compliant. So if you think that you can teach your dog without using the word no or some kind of negativity, you got your head up your ass. It's a fact. And people that do this get real negative with the dog, and the dog ends up being a mess. Like, they don't admit that they're getting negative, but they do. They get frustrated and negative. So you need to learn it from somebody that knows how to do it proper so that it doesn't cause excitement and the dog understands it just means you're doing something wrong or you're in the wrong position. That's all. That's it. God, the sun disappeared real quick, didn't it? Things are good. It's pretty cold. It's not that cold. It's not that bad. What else? Dog's coming on Thursday. You know, that's good. What else? I don't know. That's about it. It's coming down, but it is sort of sticking. Also, I did notice that the snow, like, she's a real playful dog, so this was sort of causing excitement that there's snow. It's in the 50s here. They don't rub it in. It's all right. You get the winter over with, and then spring comes around. Spring here is just everything's popping. You know, everything grows like a tremendous amount. Right? Give me a kiss. She's a good dog. What's up, Dominic Underwood? Um, I did take my, my suit, like I got like this Carhartt. Well, it's not a Carhartt, but it's that other brand suit because this kind of weather's coming. I think it's a whole body suit. Zips up in the front. I just put it through the washing machine because I know I'm gonna need it. I'm gonna need it. You know, it's cold. Sit down. So I'm preparing because it gets pretty cold. Have the front porch all ready to go, and when I break the show down, I gotta make sure that like nothing's really like out there on the porch. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna throw some shit away, that's for sure. Please elaborate more on running activities leading into cardiovascular issues. You don't run with your dog, okay? You don't run with your dog because human beings run at a quicker pace. Dogs are sprinters, not long distance runners. There's not a dog alive that can run the New York City Marathon, okay? That's not how they do it. They go at a real quick, like walking, like a fast walk. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like they're great at going up a hill quicker than us, going over rocks and terrain. So when you run with the dog, look at everybody that runs with the dog. Yeah, baby is doing well. Look at everybody that runs with their dog. The dog is always, I repeat, always lagging behind. Thank you, by the way. Thank you. I appreciate it. They're always lagging behind. It's cruel to run with your dog. To you, it's 65 or 70 degrees and you think that it's great. One, you're taking the dog out and they don't function like us, right? So they don't cool down like us, right? And if you run with like say I know a Cocker Spaniel that got cardiomyopathy by running with it. You hear about it in the news like the grain-free food that they were selling is supposed to be healthy. I never believed that crap. But now the FDA put out all these warnings because it's causing cardiomyopathy in dogs. But one other thing that causes cardiomyopathy in dogs is running them too fast, right? They're miserable. They don't function like that. You watch the wolves in Yellowstone, okay? They go after the buffalo, and if they don't get it, they quit. They can run for 5 minutes full on. That's about it. That's all they get. So you run with the dog, you're just being miserable to your dog. And if you are going to run with your dog, understand what it's like. Run with it in this weather, for sure. And if you go for 2 blocks and then all of a sudden the dog's lagging behind, it's because it's miserable. It's a different species. It functions totally different. That's the truth, man. To have them like doing a gallop, like they're trying to keep up with you, they can only do that for so long. All right? I have videos of my dogs in a distance and they don't move till I say, I don't know. What about a husky? What do you mean doing trained to do sled work? Yeah, they can run on snow better than us. You don't see the difference? We can't run at all in snow, right? Do you see the difference? Do you think that they're just hauling ass the whole time when they're pulling a sled? You're confused. They're doing that quick walk. And you can't even keep up with them. Why? Because they're in snow. They're in snow. And if you're going to bring in, like, okay, well, I train the dog with a sled on ground, right, with wheels. I know people that do that. it's still taken into consideration. You don't do 3 miles with the dog when it's fucking 50 degrees, getting the dog to do this gallop. It's doing a quick walk. You can't keep up with it. Yeah, the full on trot or whatever it is, your dog can't do that very long. It's just facts. Human beings are persistence hunters. That's how we started, right? And how we started doing that is by chasing animals out into the sun. Now we can keep walking and tracking them, not letting them rest and keep them in the sun, and we can take water with us. So they'd make the animal, whatever animal it was, a non-human, delirious. And then it'd be, hours of doing this in the hot sun. You surround it and throw a spear into it or throw rocks at it until it's dead. That's persistence hunting. You just follow the animal until you essentially just tire it out. Baby down. Baby is doing good. I saw who that was. She is. She's doing great. So, is my raven, is Sam, well, his name is Sam, Dick. He has a name, and yes, he's fine. Thanks for asking. Is he okay? What do you mean? I'm so sick of hearing those questions. I'm sorry, but it's just like, they have a like real negativity, like you're supposing something's wrong with Sam or something. Like, do you ever ask about Mango, the 23-year-old dog, or no, it's Sam, and you all don't even know his name. It's just like, is your raven okay? Do you still have your raven? So annoying. You're so annoying. Like, do you still have the raven? I can't stand hearing that. No, I got rid of him. He's only been a family member for 15 years, and I just decided to get rid of him. Look at the sun's out. It makes such a difference as far as heat goes. It does. Like, all of a sudden it starts feeling warm. It's sort of nice out now. It's not gonna last because there's like a huge like bank of clouds coming. But so anyway, back to what I was talking about. Make sure that the dog is making a straight path to you at heel. You don't want it circling around you. It's always a straight path to you, right? It needs to come on the left-hand side and turn in, always. So you act, if you're acting like you're thinking like I'm being picky, I'm not. If you let the dog do that, then they just start screwing up with other stuff. A lot of dogs are hardwired. She's hardwired. She's a pretty good dog, man, but she's sort of hardwired to be dominant, and she will check and make sure that I'm competent. And she'll do stuff like that. Like, no, I'm going to do it the wrong way. See if he responds. So I got to watch the dog during training, and right when the dog's making that mistake, it looks like it's veering off. It's going to like try and circle around me. I say no, and because the dog understands the word is no, like you're in the wrong position or you're doing something wrong, the dog becomes compliant. So that's very important that I got a bug on me. I can't believe there's a bug on me in this cold weather. What is that? What was that? I can't believe there's any bugs out and it's this cold. I mean, seriously. Then nothing better to do are giving us value. Well, I appreciate that. People take other dog nonsense. Like, go run without your dog. You don't need to put your dog through that. You don't. And road work with a bike, that's even worse. That's even worse. There's not a human being alive that on a bike or running is going to keep the dog going at a proper pace. Just know that your dog is a sprinter. So doing something like this is totally healthy for your dog. It is. They run and then they rest a little bit. Then they run again, so you could do retrieves. You could just do this. This is working your dog out, right? And you're using discipline, making sure that the dog does it right. Taking your dog to a dog run is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. Turn your dog into a fighter. You're not doing anything positive for that dog. And people are like, oh, I'm socializing the dog. you're an idiot. People are idiots. Your dog got all its social skills when it was with the litter. When it was with the litter and its mom. That's why you don't take a dog at 5 weeks for sure. Somebody was on here saying, I said, how old's your dog? They said, oh, it's 5 weeks old. It's whining. Yeah, idiot, because you took it away from its litter and its mom. I don't want to hear your excuses. But that's when your dog gets all its social skills. After that, it starts becoming about, becoming training and compliancy. So if you take your dog too early from the litter, bad with humans, bad with other dogs, keep it with the litter until the 8th week. 7th week, you could take it at the 7th week, like the middle of the 7th week. But use your 8th week. Use the 8th week as the time frame when you should take the dog. Get the dog away from the litter. They need to be split up. Never, ever take 2 dogs from the same litter. Don't ever do that. It's a mistake. And while we're on the subject, don't take a dog. If you're buying a dog or something, don't get it at 12 weeks, 13 weeks, 14 weeks. You're paying for that dog, right? You bought a dog and you're taking it at the wrong time. It's been with the litter too long, right? So you have these puppies that didn't get bought and they're jumping on each other. They always have this issue with they won't stop play fighting, and remember that mock fighting that you see with dogs that you think that's so positive for the dog. What they're doing is the same body language as an actual fight. So what do you think that they're doing that? They're practicing. They're practicing to fight. So you take the dog to the dog run, you see them doing the reindeer games, and everybody's standing around smiling like, oh, isn't that great? The dog's like, great, right? Dog's great. They're having so much fun. And then a fight breaks out, and everybody's, oh my God. And then one dog's being blamed for the fight, which you can't blame one dog because they're both involved, or 3 are involved. And you took the dog to the dog run in the first place. Don't ever do that. Your dog doesn't need to socialize with other dogs. You know what your dog needs? It needs to spend time with you. That's it. Doesn't need to know the dog that's walking down the street. Don't ever walk up to that dog and let your dog touch noses with that dog. I've seen it so many times, and then the dogs are getting tangled in the leashes and shit. So then every time you're on the street and your dog sees another dog acting like a dick because it thinks it's going to go, oh, look, a dog. I get to go over there and fuck with it. See what I'm saying? People just do stupid stuff with their dogs, not realizing, I get it. People don't realize what they're doing, but it's just the facts. That's what people do. They do stupid stuff with their dogs, and they have trouble with their dogs. They go back to their experience as a human, and their experience as a human doesn't work with a non-human. It's totally different than you. Think about what I was saying about running with the dog. They do not function like you. They don't. They don't run at the same speed. They do like a real quick walk. If you get that galloping thing, they can only do that for a very short time. Yeah, and don't ever let anybody pet your dog. Thank you, Toxic. That is nonsense. It's not socializing your dog with people, and then the dog jumps up on somebody and then they're petting it. They're teaching it to be a dick. Or the dog is sort of fearful of the person and they're freaking the dog out. Fear barking especially. I don't know your dog, but if you had contacted me, I would be saying I can only recommend a board and train. That's all I can recommend. I can't give you some sentence that's gonna I don't know your dog. And you as a novice person, you're saying it's fear-based. You don't know that. It could be barking because it's by you and sees you as a resource. You don't know what you're talking about. So I'm not going to give advice. I wouldn't give advice. There's no reason for me to even when dogs come here, all I have to do is hang out with the dog and I see what the problems are. I'll listen to the owner because, what's your dog doing? But I have no trainers around. Well, I got a dog coming from Canada. All right, I've trained dogs from Taiwan, so you have no excuses. there's no trainers around. Maybe you got to look harder. I don't know. Where can I learn all this from? What? Learn what? Dog training? I'm 58 years old. I've been working with dogs, my dad. Peter, let's go. I don't know. Certainly not ABC. I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, you're like, there's no dog trainers around. There's dog trainers everywhere. What country are you in? I mean, there are dog trainers in just about every country where dogs are pets. Opinion on city dogs? What do you mean? I lived in the city for years. What do you mean? I don't know what your opinion's supposed to be. This dog's from a city. This dog lives in Brooklyn. Hang on, we'll go. Hang on. Opinion on city dogs? Oh, most of them are usually get visually excited. They're not really trained to use their nose. Baby, calm down. Baby's having a good time in the snow. Trust me, we have none in my city. I want to be the first. Your city? Where are you? What state? Kashmir, India? Yeah, you do, because I've been contacted by Indian trainers. You're not telling me the truth. You are not. There is dog trainers there. There are. You're just not looking. That is not true. That is not true. Baby, here. That's not true. I talked to one recently. Baby's trying to play with the snow. Now that's sort of she's a playful dog, but she still has to behave. Do you know what I'm saying? Hey, come here. Sit. I don't know. Maybe we'll be out in a little bit. I gotta go in and get warm though. It's sort of nice. I don't know. It's not too cold. Baby, sit. Anyway, we'll see you. Thanks for stopping by. Baby is doing good. Nice to see you. I hope everything's going well. Baby is doing great. Seriously.